Hello, welcome to Core Java for Beginners Part 6. In this video, we are going to discuss more about classes and object. We had an introduction to classes and object in the last video. Today we are going to in this video we are going to write more programs and have better understanding of classes and object. And apart from that, I am going to write a program to use this pointer or this object. We are going to see about arrays and we are going to see about array of objects. So these are all the topics which will be covered in part 6 of this Core Java. So we have already written some programs. We have written one program with the rectangle class. So we created object R1 and R2, and whenever I wanted to declare an object, I will say rectangle R1 and rectangle R1 is equal to new of rectangle. Okay, so basically whenever I declared rectangle R1, JVM creates the reference variable and the name is given as R1. When I say rectangle R1 is equal to new of rectangle, JVM will allocate space for the new rectangle object in the heap, returns the address to the reference variable R1. Okay, so we have seen this example in the last video. Class rectangle, float length and breadth, set data. We are setting the value for length and breadth in the set data function, and we have display area. It is going to display the area of the rectangle, whichever it is calling here. So we are going to see what is happening in the main function. Rectangle R1 is equal to new of rectangle, rectangle R2 is equal to new of rectangle here, and I am declaring another variable, another object, reference object for rectangle, that is R3 is equal to R1. What is happening here? It is basically R1 and R3 are same, and R1 and R3 are pointing to the same memory location in the memory. Okay, and similarly R1 is equal to R2 is similar to R3 is equal to R1. How it is done in the memory here in the Java? So basically whenever I say rectangle R1 is equal to new of rectangle, okay, there is a reference object created here called as R1. Okay, and since we have said new of rectangle here, the actual object location, actual memory location is done, memory allocation is done, and this R1 is pointing to that location here. Similarly, rectangle R2 is equal to new of rectangle. There is an object allocation is done, rectangle object, and R2 is pointing to this rectangle object here. Both these rectangle objects are in two different places because these two are two different objects. Whenever I say rectangle R3 is equal to R1, R3 is nothing but it is a reference object, but since we said R3 is equal to R1, R3 is going to refer to the same rectangle object what is declared in the rectangle R1 is equal to new of rectangle here. So I have R1, R2, R3 of rectangle type, but we can see only two objects, that is two rectangle objects are seen here. Since R3 is equal to R1, R3 points to the R1 object. The same object it is going to R3 is also getting pointed to. So this is the basic understanding of the object reference variable, at the same time actual object. If we say R3 is equal to null, which means that R3 is not pointing to any object, then R3 doesn't refer to anything, but it is a reference variable. It can be assigned to another rectangle object reference. So now again I will say R1 is equal to new of rectangle, it is similar to this one. And when I say R3 is equal to null, R3 reference object is created, but it is not pointing to any of the rectangle object. Now let us introduce let us write one program, that is an employee program. So what I am going to do is, it is very similar. I am going to write the program very similar to rectangle, and I am going to introduce one more method in the employee program, which will help us to understand this pointer or this reference variable. Okay. So let us go to the Apache NetBeans. I am going to write a program, an employee program. So let me open a new project and I will call it as employee. Okay. So I will be having one employee class, which is going to be a public class here, and it has a main method. So let us not come to the main method first. First we will design a class called as EMP. Class EMP. This class is going to have three private members: private, integer EMP code, private string EMP name, private double EMP sal. Okay, there are three private members here: employee code, employee name, and employee salary. So if I declare any object of EMP type in the main, which means that EMP will have that EMP employee will have this EMP code, EMP name, and employee salary here. I am going to write public function, public void set data. This is similar to what we have done in the rectangle program. So which is going to take three parameters: integer c and string n and double sal. Yes. So it is just going to assign the values to the class members. So I am going to say EMP code is equal to C, EMP name is equal to N, EMP sal is equal to S. This is very similar to what we saw in the rectangle program. So it is just going to assign whatever is passed to this set data function, it is going to assign to the private members of the class. Similarly, I am going to write a function called as display. This also is going to be similar to the rectangle class. So public void display, and this one is going to display all the values of the EMP class here. So system dot out dot println, and here I am going to say code, employee code is EMP sal, employee EMP code. Same thing for employee name and for employee salary. So I will say employee name, this is going to be called as name is equal to this, and I am going to say salary is EMP sal. So what I will do, I will declare two objects, two employees in the main class, EMP E1 comma E2. So what I am doing here, E1 and E2 are actually doesn't have the instance of the class here, but it is only a reference variable which is defined of EMP type. Unless otherwise I say an instant E1 dot E1 is equal to new of EMP. If I say this, then there is an instance of an employee class, okay, and that reference is added to E1. So E2 is equal to new of EMP. So two object is instantiated here. Unless otherwise I say E1 is declared and E1 is equal to new of employee, I cannot say that it is an instance created. Now two objects are created of EMP type. So now you can use E1 dot set data. Here the first value is going to be 1001. It is the employee code, and name is going to be given within double quotes. It's going to be name 1. Just for an example, name 1 I am saying, and employee salary, let me call it, let me give 10 lakhs. Similarly, E2 also I am going to give values for that. I am going to set the value for that. E2 is equal to 1002 is the employee code, name 2 is the employee name, and he is going to get 90 lakhs as a salary. So now if I want to display the values, E1 dot display, E2 dot display. So this is very similar. Whenever I run this application, two employees are there, and two employees are, each employees are set, values are set here, and each employee is getting displayed here. Now let me run this program and show you. So you can see that first value is this, second value is this one. So you have set the value, at the same time you have displayed the value here. Now let me add, or let me add one more functionality to this EMP class. Okay, so that functionality should find which employee is getting more salary among this E1 and E2, who is getting the more salary, and that details I wanted to display. So how will I write that one? Okay, so basically if I look at this display function, let us go in some more details we will get on this display function. I am calling this E1 for I am calling this display function by using this E1 object. So E1 object is calling this display function. So the employee code, employee name, and employee salary belongs to E1. When I am calling display by using this E2, this employee code, employee name, and employee salary belongs to E2. So at this particular point, E1 employee name and employee code, name, and salary belongs to E1. At this particular point, this employee code, employee name, and employee salary belongs to E2. Okay, so whichever is object is calling, that object's E1 employee code and employee name and employee salary is available to you like this. So now if I am calling a function with one of the object, that value is available to us within the function. Now if I wanted to find out the greater salary between E1 and E2, so it is enough that if you call the greater function with one of the object, one value is available to you, the second value you have to pass it off. Okay, so how will my function be? So it will be public. Let me come to the return type little later, greater, and EMP of A. Okay, So now what is the return type of this one? So it has to find out the greater is going to be called by E1 and E2 is going to be passed. So E1 is available directly like this, E1's values are available directly like this, and E2 is passed as a parameter here, and it is available to you with an object name called as A. So you get E1's value also, E2's value also here. Now I can write an if condition to find out which is the greater, who is getting more salary, and that value should be returned back. So you need to return back the employee detail, complete employee details, whoever is getting the more salary here. So I need to return back EMP type. Okay. So now let me write the if condition. If A dot EMP salary is greater than EMP salary. Okay. So this EMP sal is coming as a parameter here, and this EMP sal is nothing but it is the object which is calling this greater function. That object's EMP salary is this one. For example, if I write this one, E1 dot greater E2. If I say this, E2 is coming to A, and E2's employee salary is A dot employee salary. E1 is calling this greater function, so employee salary which is referred like this is belonging to E1. So if E2's salary is greater than E1's salary, then return the entire object A should be returned back, because A dot EMP salary which is equivalent to E2 dot employee salary. So E2 object is going to be returned back. In case if the condition is wrong, what I should return back? I should just return this. What is this? We have seen in the previous video, this is referring to the object which is calling that. So which object is calling this greater function? E1 is calling this greater function. So E1 can be accessed by using this. This object is having the reference object of E1 is equivalent to the reference object which is mentioned in the this pointer. So this is nothing but it is a reference variable given to us, and it can be used within the function members of any class, and that will be always pointing to the object which is calling it. Okay. So now this is what is going to be the greater function which you will be writing it here. So now E1 dot greater E2, which means that E1's value and E2 value you are going to compare, and you are going to get an object. Okay, that object is going to be the greater object here. Okay, so you can just declare EMP R3 or E3 is equal to this object. So now what you are doing, you are trying to put the value whatever is whatever object is returned from the greater function is assigned to this E3. So now you can use E3 to display. Okay, and before that I will just display system dot out dot println employee getting greater salary. Okay, so this is how you have to write your greater function. At the same time, this is how we use our this reference variable or a pointer here. When I am running this application, you see here first value is this, second value is this one. Since between these two, second value is name 2 is having more salary, and the employee getting the greater salary is the name 2, which is code number is 1002 and the salary is this one. Okay, but here you don't have to use another variable here. We can also write the same without this E3 here by just doing like this. E1 dot E1 greater E1 dot greater E2 dot display. You see here, this is going to return one object. That object is going to call the display function. You don't have to declare this object also. E3 need not be declared. So just run this application, it is going to be the same output. Okay, so without declaring a new object here to hold the return value, you can just use directly the expression here to call the display function here. So with this example, you will understand how to write a program and use this reference variable here, and you should be in a position to understand how this pointer is used or this reference variable is used here. Okay, so next we will go to the arrays. Arrays are nothing but they are the group of variables sequentially arranged. Array declaration syntax. How do you declare the array in Java? Variable type with open bracket and close bracket, square brackets open and close, and then the variable name. Example, you say integer open bracket and then a. So a is an array of integer array type. A is an variable of integer array type. Okay. So in the above example, we can see that a is of type integer open bracket close bracket, which is nothing but a is an integer array type. So we need to explicitly allocate memory for this one. Whenever you declare like this, it doesn't have any size. What is array size will be basically array means it is sequence of memory allocation done for integer or for a. So it doesn't have any size here. So you need to declare array of this one a, and a is equal to new of integer of 10. That means you have 10 integer memory allocation done for this a here, and each and every memory allocation can be accessed by using a of 0, a of 1, a of 2 like that. Okay, so this is one small example to explain the array, which we will also be doing it. So within the main program, see this array, I am just writing a small array without any class. So this is not going to have any class here, just I am introducing arrays here. So what is going to happen here, within the main program I am going to declare a of integer array type, and how much will be the size size of the array. If it is going to be 10 elements, you can say 10, or if it is going to be 5, I will say 5 here. So a is equal to new of integer of 10. Okay, which means 10 integers one in a single array here, it is available to you, and it is called as a here. So what I am going to do is I am going to get the value from the keyboard and assign to the array here. So every time I am going to initialize I and it to 0 here. I will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. If I have 10 elements in an array, it will be starting from a of 0, a of 1, a of 2 like that, it goes up to a of 9. Okay. So similarly I am having an integer array here which is of 10, 0 to 9 it will go, and you can see that loop is also going up to 0 to 9 and getting the value of values for the array and displaying the array here. Okay. So let us take this example and see how this is going to be executed in our NetBeans. So I will start a new project and I will call this as a array1. AR1. So this is not going to have a new class. Within the public class I am going to declare integer open bracket close bracket a. So this itself is a initialization, declaration of an object of a variable called as a of integer array type. Okay. So what I will do is I need to just say a is equal to new of integer 5. So I will declare 5 object. Okay. So you need to use your rectangle brackets, square brackets here need to use it. So I have an variable called as a of integer array type, and whenever I declare this one I need to I don't have the size here, I need to declare an object of size 5 and then assign this one to a, which means that there is an series of memory allocation of 5 memory allocation is done, and the starting address will be stored in this a here. Okay. So a is referring to the starting address of the array, but a of 0 is going to refer to the first element of the array, a of 1 is going to be assigned like this. So it is going to take the second value. So a of 0 is going to have the first location. Let me call, I will store 10 here. A of 1 is equal to 20. A of 2 is equal to 30. So I am just loading the array here. So in this program I am just accepting from the keyboard, but instead I am just going to display I am going to take it assigning this value, because I have only 5 elements, I can just do that one directly. In other words, if you wanted to take it from the keyboard, you can also write the scanner object, you can declare and use the scanner object and get the value. A of 4 is equal to 50. So there are 5 elements here starting from a of 0 to a of 4. So any object if you declare 5, that will be starting from 0 to 4 here. So that is going to be your array initialization. Okay. So for accessing this array, you don't have to type print one by one a of print a of 0, print a of 1, or print a of 2, print a of 3, like that. You can use the for loop. For integer I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus. I plus plus is nothing but it is a increment operator. So now what I will do is system dot out dot println, and within this I am going to say array 1. Okay, so a of 0 or a of 1. Okay, I will call it as a of, you can also note this one because I am going to use formatting here, which will help you to do in your programs. Okay, so if I do this way, what is going to happen here? First it is going to take I of a open bracket, I value will be 0, it depends upon the loop. Whenever it is going to 0, it will be 0, otherwise 1 2 3 4 like that it goes on, and I am having open bracket close bracket, and then I am adding the actual value whatever is there. So 10 20 30 40 will be printed as it is, it will be printed here. Okay, so now let me run this code. If I run this one, you see a of 0 is equal to 10, a of 1 is equal to 20, whatever is assigned like this, the similar way I am printing it here. So you can use this formatting like this to print our results like this. Okay, so this is one small example of your array here. This one you can try on your own. You can write two methods for loading the array and displaying the array here. Okay, so let me write the array of strings. Array of string is also similar to integer variable. You have to declare string open bracket close bracket, say str, and str is equal to new of your string of 3. So 3 strings only I am allocating here. Here you can get the next values from the keyboard and you can display the value like this. So as I mentioned in the formatting, same formatting is used here. Okay, let me write this code here in the NetBeans. I'll open a new program, strar string array. So I will declare string open bracket close bracket str string. So str is equal to new of string of maybe 3 elements. So I am having I have only one array with 3 elements in that. So I will declare scanner object s is equal to new of scanner system.in. So you declare like this. So now here it is giving an error because you are not imported java.util.scanner. So let me import that, so that error goes off. Now I will use a for loop. So there are 3 elements which we need to get it. So for integer I is equal to 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus. So here I am going to use the scanner object, system.out.println. I am going to say enter plus I plus string. So I will say first enter the first string. Okay, then here I am going to say str of I is equal to s dot next. How do you get this one? By using, for getting the string you will use next line, means you get a line, one line of string from that and then store it in this. So this is for getting the value from the keyboard, and for displaying it, for I is equal to 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus. So here what I am going to do, I am going to display the value on the screen. So I will use the same string statement. So the value of first string is equal to is equal to, I will say plus str of I. So now here it is giving an error because you have declared within that for loop. So it will be the scope will be only this for loop, and once it comes out of the for loop, that integer I is not accessible. So you can declare this I on the top, because you don't have to declare 2 times for different for loops. I will just say integer I. So when I say integer I, then it can be used in all the for loops here. Okay, so when I am running this application, you can see that it is entering, it is asking you to enter first one, first string, second string, third one. So it is printing first 0 is printed here, first one, second one and third one is printed here in this one. So you can use this a string array like this. You can declare a string array like this, and then you can use it in the program. Now you can also use, this is the example which I have already explained you for finding out who is getting the greater salary. The salary should be used like this. Okay. Array of object. Array of object, how do you declare the array of object here? It is again similar to the normal variable only. What you do is employee open bracket close bracket. If I am having an employee object, I can declare an object of employee like this, and I will say new of employee of 3. Okay. So what is happening here? 3 reference object, sequential reference object is created here. In each and every object we need to declare an instance, employee instance. So no new employee instance for each and every reference variable here. emp1 of emp of I should be declared, and then you can initialize the value, and then you can display the value here. Okay. So greater, you can just mention how to find out the greater value between two numbers. Okay. So let us do this array of object, one example in our NetBeans. I am just declaring an I am creating a new project. Okay, instead of declaring creating a new project, I will take the same employee project and explain you with an array. So there is a class called as employee here. We had employee code, employee name, and employee salary, and we have get data, set data. At the same time we have the display data here, and we also have the greater function. Let me reuse this one. So instead of declaring objects like this, I will declare array of objects. So I am not using this code here. So if you wanted to comment it, you can just comment it like this. Okay, open and close it. Now I am going to declare an employee array type, object array type. So emp open bracket close bracket, and I will call it as E. Okay. So now E is only a reference variable here, which is pointing to an array. So I need to have how many elements should be there in the E array. So I will say E is equal to new of emp of, I will have 3 only. So now again what is happening here in this case is, you have E which is pointing to an array, and that array is having 3 elements, and each and every element will be pointing to one object. Okay. So if you want me to explain that, how it will happen is, so here if you look at this one, I will be having an array. Okay, let me draw something. Okay, let me go to the paint. Okay, so now here what I am going to do is, I am going to draw something here. This is going to be an emp array, which is having 3 elements in this one. So this is what we are mentioning as emp of 3 elements. So the starting address of this one is going to be called as E, and each and every element is going to be accessed by using E of 0 and E of 1, and this is going to be E of 2. All these things are references only here, but I should have an object of employee type. So I need to define an object by using new of employee. It is going to be of one employee, the content components of one employee, and this one is going to be point to this. And similarly E1's is going to be E1 of I is going to be passed to this one. E of E2 is going to be having one more object here. So 3 objects should be declared here. Okay, and each and every element in the array is going to be pointing to the object, the instance of the object. So for that what I will do is E of 0, or you can write a for loop also for that. For I is equal to 0. Okay, let me declare integer I is equal to 0. I is less than 10. I is less than 3. I plus plus. So within this for loop, E of I is equal to new of emp. So this is actually instantiating, that is one object memory allocation is done, and that is pointing to E of 0. That is what is explained here. When I say new of emp, exact memory allocation is done for the employee type, which will have emp code, employee name, and employee basic, employee salary. Okay, and that is going to be pointing to E of 0. So first time when it is coming inside, it will be I is equal to 0 here. So E of 0 is going to be employee of 1. Second time it is going to be 1, and third time it is going to be 3 here, is going to be 2 here. So you have declared employee array type, and you have declared there are 3 elements in that one. All the 3 elements are reference variable to an object. So now I am declaring 3 object and assigning this one to the array elements here one by one. So now how will I set the value for that? So I need to call this. So E1 E of 0, again I need to do E of 0. I need to call, I can use set data here, set data. So here again I will say 1001, it's only a number here, name, example I am taking, name 1, I will pass 8000 rupees or 80,000. Then E1 of, there are 3 elements only, so E1 dot set data here, and here I will say 1002 is the second employee code. So this will be name 2, and here it is going to be 1 lakh. Okay, and the same way I will call E2 also. So 3 elements are there, 3 objects are created, and all the 3 objects are values are set here. So 3 employees are there here, 3 employee values are available to us. Okay, let me call, I will have this one as 6 lakhs. Okay, so you are setting the value for each and every employee here. So previously you just add 2 employees here, employee 1 and employee 2, you declared object and assigned that value to the reference E1 and E2 and used E1 like this. But here I am having E, it's only one variable here of array type, and each and this array is going to have 3 elements, and these 3 elements is going to be referred as E of 0, E of 1 and E of 2. So I am setting the value here. And similarly, if I want to display the value on the screen, what I will do is I can use the for loop. So this for loop can be used like this. I dot display like this. So in a for loop I can use it here. So if you are going to get the value from the keyboard, you can use for loop and get E of 0, E of 1 and E of 2, but I am not getting from the value here, I am just setting the value here in this case, but here in this case I am just displaying it, so I am doing this way. So if I run this application, you can see that it is displaying the values 1, 2 and 3 values are displayed here. Okay, so same way I can also check who is getting the maximum salary out of by using this greater function. But in case if you wanted to use an array and you wanted to find out who is getting more salary in that array, we can use different techniques for that. Okay, so the greater function will not be much useful there. If this greater function will be useful only for getting finding out who is getting more salary between two employees only here. Okay, in that we have used this pointer here. Okay, so this is one of the example for the array of objects. So now we will come to some exercises. Accept 5 integer, sort the array from the highest to the lowest. Display both unsorted and sorted integer values here. So accept 5 student names, sort them according to alphabetical order. Accept n names, display the name in the second and fourth character of the as vowel or not. Display names with second and fourth character are vowels. Okay, so employee program, array of objects, set or accept the 5 employee details, sort them based on the basic salary. So this will be one of the very important program, and it will be more useful to you. You try this program, and in case if you want me to solve it, you can write in the comment section. I will do that. And thank you. That's the end of this section, and bye. Kindly subscribe to my channel.